I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address.
We're not just building muscle, we're building men. In the quiet hours, in the unfiltered moments, in the conversations that happen before the world wakes up. This is the Gloom, where brotherhood forms in the dark so we can lead in the light, where vulnerability is strength and leadership is handed from man to man, one story at a time. Our mission is to empower, exhort, and inspire men to achieve their best selves through stories of reinvigorated male community leadership. We bring you weekly interviews with F3 Omaha PAX, ordinary men doing extraordinary things in fitness, fellowship, faith, and leadership, because we believe that every man has a story, and reinvigoration starts when that story is shared. This is the Glue in the Gloom. Shout out to our sponsors, Avior Wealth Management, Liberty Core Real Estate, Major Team Mortgage, Exclusively Eye Care, Omaha Laser Dentistry, and McNamara Law Firm. We appreciate your support. Yo, Gloom listeners, it's the Plague. Let me talk to you about our F3 brother, Amazin, aka Patrick McNamara with McNamara Law Firm, right here in Old Town Elkhorn. Amazin helps small business owners set up their companies, draft and review agreements, and make smart legal decisions so you can focus on growth instead of putting out fires. He also helps families with estate planning, like building living trusts that make sure your kids are ready when the time comes. Don't leave their future to chance. Connect with our brother Amazin today at McNamara Law Firm and put the right plan in place for your business, your family, and your future. Are you or someone you know in the market to buy a new home? Well, if so, check out Major Team Mortgage. They specialize in home purchase and refinance home loans. Their mission is to purposely empower people to experience their good life through building wealth with real estate. You know, showing up in the Gloom is no different than showing up for a conversation around your future of building wealth with real estate. Join the action economy and get in the game with Sasquatch. Text or call John at 402-212-0149 to schedule a time today. Individual NMLS number 1393750. Company NMLS number 2478164. Equal housing lender. Now, let's get back to the Gloom. In 5, 4...
And we're back. Gentlemen, it is 5:30. No, wait a second. No, it's not. We're on the Gloom podcast. We're not in the actual Gloom, but we are here with Street Dance. Thanks for coming out, brother.
Yeah.
We're excited
Thanks
to
for
have you
having
on. This is your co-host Gator here with Plague. And we are going to start today with talking about who EH'd you, what you remember about that first workout, and what kind of moves did you have to do in the Gloom to get the name Street Dance?
Yeah. I mean, the name itself is pretty funny, especially for people that do know me outside of the Gloom. Speed Bump EH'd me. We were completely random people. We were floating in the lake that we live at. First thing he says when he sees me, he's like, "You should come work out at Beacon." I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." So he didn't introduce himself. He just said, you should come out to Beacon." I'm like, and then I said, "Okay."
Nice. That's awesome.
So show up at DC West at 5:30. There's already guys I could see coming in from a pre-run. I had no idea what that was at the time. And, this is so out of my comfort zone. It was just unbelievable. My wife is like, "What are you doing?" It was just crazy. So you go through it and you do the workout, and I would say I was in somewhat decent shape. I would work out in our basement. But my cardio definitely was not there. I was doing some cardio like on the Peloton and whatnot, but it's a whole different cardio when you're doing F3 workouts. So I got home and then you have the COT, and those first COTs, like the first 6 months, I was just amazed. It like this is amazing. But sorry to go back. So you get in FNG, talk about everything. It seems like in Valley, it's one of the first questions is how you met your wife. And so I met my wife at a street dance in Blair. So street dance was born then, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I can't dance.
It's not because you're a dancer.
No, I have no moves.
And so what was your sort of immediate F3 journey like? Did you come back the next day or,
Oh yeah. Speed bump picked me up. Then so that was Wednesday. So Bullpen was doing some of the launches. It wasn't an official site at the time.
Yeah.
So we go to Bullpen, do the beat down, and I'll never forget, Tater Tot was there, and he came up to me immediately. And at the time, I'm like, "Who's this guy? Why is he so happy?"
Yeah.
And that's
everybody's first reaction.
Yeah. That's been my reaction overall. Coming like, why are these people so happy and talking so much?
Yeah.
Because that definitely wasn't me.
Yeah.
So Tater Tot immediately, like, we ran and he was asking questions and, doing his F3 thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that I would like rush home and talk to my wife about it. I'm like, this is just wild stuff to me.
Yeah.
And in a good way. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it was, and then after that, I think I just started going every day.
Yeah.
And I was dead tired.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually the beat downs start to get easier. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Speed Bump did a very good job at, making me uncomfortable. And it's like, okay, you need to start doing pre-runs. And I thought I was in decent shape. I wasn't. I couldn't finish. And Beacon Valley is probably the easiest pre-run in all of F3, right?
Yeah, it's really flat. Yeah, they added those two hills.
Yeah,
those
little
bumps.
speed bumps. Yeah. I couldn't finish. I couldn't do the 3.5 miles without stopping.
Yeah.
But then you keep going, and something that you talk about, or that they talk about in Free to Lead, is you get better when you work out with better people.
Mm-hmm.
When you're running with faster people like Plague and Speed Bump and those guys and Juvie,
yeah,
like you push yourself to keep up with them, and then you slowly build. And not that I can keep up with everybody, but I definitely can run a lot better now.
Yeah. And where were you at from, you said you were in decent shape, but did you play sports growing up, or what was, it sounds like you were considered yourself fit, but it sounds like you had some.
I was wrong. I played sports in high school.
Yeah.
And an interesting story about that is I was going to go play football at Peru State where I went to college. But then I decided to party a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't play just because it was not anything bad about it, but it's just like, oh, okay, it's kind of just is what it is.
Yeah.
So I decided not to play, and then found out it was fun being on my own in college and having a good time. And there for a while, I gained a ton of weight. I gained 50 pounds in my freshman year of college.
Oh, wow.
I was 260 pounds when I got married. Then my wife is a nurse. She's like, you probably need to change some of your habits. Then she started doing half marathons, and I was sitting at home not doing anything. And then I decided to start taking care of myself and working out, and I would go for really slow runs at the time. And then I lost 60 pounds, and you feel better when you work out every day.
Absolutely.
So we both started working out. I would start doing it in the morning because I found out that's the only time it would work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting enough, as we used to live right over here, and the chances of me running by the Armory in the mornings, I mean, I don't know how I would have missed it.
Right.
Not that I would have ever joined at that time.
Yeah.
It's like, what are these guys doing?
Yeah.
But I wish I would have known, like everybody says it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wish I would have known.
Absolutely.
In 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful that I ran into Speed Bump when I did.
Yeah. Are you from here, from Omaha or Elkhorn, or where?
I grew up in Blair.
Okay. So general area. Yeah. But you might know some people in Blair. You could help us when we try to launch over there, right?
Oh yeah, they need it. They need it.
I'm curious, just and maybe more from like a mental perspective, but where were you at when sort of Speed Bump approached you? Like, were you in a healthy spot, or
No.
what was it that sort of got you to be like,
No.
yeah, I probably should go do that?
I talked about it at my VQ. You were there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was not in a good spot. I remember he picked me up to go to bullpen, and he like I mean he's very passionate,
Yeah.
and it's great.
Yeah.
And he was talking about free to lead, and I was just like a sponge, just bringing it all in. I'm like, holy cow! And then he talked about sad clown. I'm like, holy cow,
Mm-hmm.
that is me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I finally figured out what the hell's wrong with me.
Yeah.
So it was very emotional, going through that and realizing like, okay, now I know
Mm-hmm.
what it is and this group can help.
Yeah.
So yeah, my wife was not happy. We were fighting a lot, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that we talk about.
Yeah.
But
I love, because I feel like and we see this with a lot of guys, but I can sort of see the, like, you getting unlocked, right? When a guy sort of realizes, like, okay, this is what's going on,
yeah,
and I found a group that can help, and then you've learned that, like, actually I can take accountability and lead in my family and my community, and then
yeah,
just seeing you're really one of the foundational members of sort of the valley, Mount Everest, or not Mount Everest, but Mount Rushmore. And so it's just really cool to, like, hear, it's such a cool thing. But I'm curious, as you think about, like, we're kind of going on different tracks here, not necessarily just the first step, but, like, how has that changed you as a man? Like,
oh man,
to just get to this point where you're like,
yeah. I am so thankful,
yeah,
for this experience. My wife is, my
mm,
daughter is, uh, my whole family can see the difference.
mm-hmm,
Uh, and I've been thinking about it when you reached out a few weeks ago about doing this. Again, this is something I would never imagine doing.
yeah,
Um, and but it's good to talk about stuff,
yeah,
and I never would have.
mm-hmm,
So that's the nice thing, is being able to do that. Um, and the one example that I thought of, like I was on Twitter or X before F3,
mm-hmm,
but the algorithm was a lot different.
yeah, 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 right,
um,
yeah,
and it has definitely changed. And it's crazy.
yeah,
Um, I was never a overly positive person.
mm,
And your feed feeds off of that,
mm-hmm,
and then it doesn't help.
yeah,
So now it like my feed is positive, so that you are what you consume.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then you can lead your family, your community in the gloom so much better.
yeah.
Um, and I attribute it to F3. It's unbelievable.
Love it. What's it been like, as so you started, Beacon Valley was probably the only valley
Yeah.
site we had. And so, but it sounds like you still were traveling
Oh yeah.
wherever you could go to get a
Yeah.
workout in. So curious where you kind of found your groove. Like, do you prefer a standard beat down site, or do you like the coupons or weights, or like, do you hit a halfway house? Where do you kind of find your groove in the?
Well, I kind of feel bad that I was doing some 7-mile pre-runs at
Yeah.
Beacon. Uh, and there's a story about that here whenever we get to it. But uh, I've started going to Bennington sites with Speed Bump, and then started to get to know a lot of those guys. So I just felt like I was at home in Bennington.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that all those sites explode has been awesome.
Yeah.
And I like Block Party. Iron and Ore is great.
Yeah.
That's it's great seeing Valley growing, because then I don't have to wake up so early.
Yeah. Yep.
But I do miss going to other sites, and then sometimes, because I feel somewhat responsible that I need to be at the Valley sites.
Yeah. For
Um,
sure.
but then I do miss going to some of the Bennington sites and other sites that I would travel to at times.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
I really just uh the the sites are all good, right? And then you can find different things that you like about it. Sometimes, that pre-run's not the best because it's not flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what, you want to push yourself and do some harder things. And um that's what I really like, is making sure that I get my own ass kicked in the morning.
Yeah.
Because it definitely starts your day right.
Yeah. And I'm curious about how you mentioned the beat downs, they got easier. Like where are you at right now as far as continuing to kind of challenge yourself from a fitness perspective? What kind of things do you do at, is it the 7 mile pre-run that keeps you going, or what is it?
Well, I haven't done that in a while because one of the side effects of F3 is you have some injuries that you work through.
Absolutely.
So I had some foot problems, so I haven't been doing the longer pre-runs, but I've been doing Smurfs, which, dude, why? But it's good. I tried to do 3 this week.
Okay.
And I woke up yesterday morning and I was just dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did the beat down, and then when the beat down's over, I'm like, well, should have done the Smurf.
Yeah.
But you got to listen to your body.
Yeah.
Make sure, like we always talk about, the most important workout is your next one.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy the Smurfs. It's a good time. As crazy as that sounds.
Have you had injuries that have kind of sidelined you for a period of time where you've not been able to post? Or
they
is it
probably should have.
Okay.
I had to go to the doctor and get some inserts, like some professional ones. But I would just run through it.
Mm-hmm.
But it has stopped me from doing the longer pre-runs or going to halfway house.
Yeah.
But eventually I'll get there. I'll get back.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned as we grow, right? The whole thing is like by design we keep growing. But as we grow and things get closer to where you live, then there's this feeling of like, oh, but I'm leaving these guys behind, or it's really hard. I mean, I think I've since the start of F3, and even we moved at one point, and but anytime I go back to some of those sites, it's like you just pick up right where you left off with those relationships, which is one of the cool things. I would be curious. You mentioned, so you gained a bunch of weight in college, maybe lost some weight. And so where are you at now with sort of like fitness or physical health sort of goals? Are you in a good spot, you feel like?
Yeah, I'd say overall.
Yeah.
I'm probably like 205 right now. It's better than 265.
That's way better. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
And that's what the challenge I like about F3 is, try and continue to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, Queen service isn't always the best, but
yeah.
Continue to work on that.
Have you participated in the Queen Service Challenge?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah. No. I think I've maybe only done 1 or 2, but it's kind of it's a good accountability structure, I think, for some guys.
Yeah. Putting your weight in a Slack channel for all to see is a humbling thing to do.
Yeah. Love it. Well, tell us about, you mentioned the relationships with some of these guys. And I think because of when you posted, I also love that like you and Speedbump didn't really even know each other.
No,
and you just said you should come work out at.
Yeah.
And he dropped the name of an F3 site that you would never know if you weren't an F3. But anyway, how did you go about building relationships with guys as you started going to different sites? And then would love to also hear like, you and Speedbump live in the same neighborhood on the same lake community. So what has it done to the relationship you have with him?
Oh yeah. Great question. That's one thing that's been somewhat challenging for me, just because this is so much outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I was always more, probably guarded, because like a guarded sad clown.
Yeah.
That I didn't know. So going into a random park in Bennington with a bunch of people that are happy was just like very uncomfortable. So it took time to slowly build enough, I don't know, confidence, I guess, to start talking to people.
Yeah.
I was pretty much head down. Like I enjoyed the workouts. I enjoyed the message at the end.
Yeah.
But it did take some time. But then eventually, it's a blizzard out there in Badger Point, and started talking to guys.
Yeah.
And at the time, I couldn't go to coffee when I first started. So I think that's where some of the challenge talking to, getting maybe faster relationships
Mm-hmm.
is because as soon as COT was done, I was in my truck coming home because I had to get back.
Sure.
But then now I'm taking the time to do the coffee, and it's been huge.
Yeah. Did you have to get back, or you just thought you had to get back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I had to get back.
Yeah.
Because at the time, I think the coffee made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So it was an easy way to get out of it.
Yeah. I'm curious what your as you went to all these sites early on, what your experience was like as you watched COTs and you mentioned being guarded and why are people talking during a workout, much less at the end of it,
Yeah.
talking about some very
Right.
serious personal things,
Yeah.
and I'm curious, what was that like for you as far as recognizing what kind of group this is, as far as
It was like, the mind blown emoji.
yeah.
Mhm.
It was just so different from anything that I've ever experienced because, the leading intentionally and being vulnerable, to me, that was a sign of weakness.
Mm.
Like, I'm not going to talk about my feelings. Who does that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Apparently, a bunch of these guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I would come home and talk to my wife, and she was so thankful
Mm.
about it. Because it really opened my eyes to
Mhm.
how you should live.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't say like I was living bad,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
I wasn't a bum.
Yeah.
I was in my mind, I was doing the right things. I was working out, taking care of my family. But there was something missing and
Mhm.
not leading the right way.
Yeah. At what point did you realize, or hopefully you've realized this, but like, that realization that like, holy cow, I am a sad clown and I need this. But at what point did you realize everybody else had also realized like, I'm a sad clown too, and I need this? Like, did you make that connection early on to sort of like these guys all share that sort of with me?
It took a little bit because I
Yeah.
was such I was so amazed by how happy everybody was. I kept
Yeah.
talking about because everybody else had already been in it for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And not saying that everybody was perfect. I mean, none of us are.
Yeah.
But as you continue to post and you hear more stories and their journey and how
Mhm.
they are where they are, then you're like, okay, this is
Yeah.
the perfect group.
Yeah. I still sometimes my sad clown will still come out occasionally. So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
one of,
yeah.
one of those things that you're like, okay, we're in this fight together.
Yeah.
Well, and I love, I don't know, guys may or may not be able to see this, but, Street Dance brought his Q-Source book with him. And I love this because, Q-Source is like one of my all time favorite things, but, talk to us about your experience with Q-Source, because it kind of lands in this second F, maybe
Yeah.
a little third F space, but, where'd you first go to a Q-Source discussion, and what was that like to be involved in that?
First Q source was at Whetstone,
Okay.
and I didn't talk. I just listened.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to listen to everybody's perspective. You could take any one of these parts of the book a completely different way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always nice to listen to a group of guys sitting at high V, and what their perspective is.
Mhm.
And it just, you can learn a lot. And that's kind of some of my approach is, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yeah.
It's always more wise to listen,
Mhm.
and not always talk.
Yeah.
But then, traveling, I think I had to get a passport to go to the village. It was so far away.
Yeah. Yeah. Pay the toll over the bridge. Yeah.
And then just talking to those guys there,
Yeah.
like it's been great.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to Crucible.
Mhm.
As soon as I pass the flag, milk carton, had me queue over there.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I had never been to Beacon Valley in over a year and a half.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird.
For guys that are not like Plague and have the whole Q source memorized, and maybe a little intimidated by that, and maybe they're like a more relaxed, free flowing discussion at coffee and just hanging out. What advice would you give people who are interested in maybe going to Q source but maybe hadn't pulled the trigger yet on it?
Yes, absolutely. They need to go. First, they need to read Free to Lead. I push that as much as I can. All the we continue to have more guys show up in Valley, which is amazing. And I don't even know where my copy of the book is. It's someone's reading it. So it's great. And then I just tell them, keep passing it along, and make sure everybody reads it. Q source it's a good resource. I have it at my bedside table, and it's there, and I'll pick it up from time to time. So it's definitely important that we continue to have Q source, and as Valley Waterloo grows, maybe we will add that to one of the sites.
Yeah.
And I think you're a good example of it's okay if you want to show up to your first Q source and just listen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't have to come in there and puke all over the place.
Right.
Just listen and learn.
Yeah.
And it makes you better.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, talk us through, I know you had kind of mentioned maybe preparedness. Was one of the topics that you learned a lot from. Talk us through that.
Yeah. So I'll start with perfect example was last night. If you're not in good physical shape, you're not prepared to take care of your family.
Right.
So I mentioned before we started recording that it was my wife's birthday last night. My wife, daughter, and I went on taco ride in Bellevue. So it's a 6 mile one way, and we got about 4 miles in, and my wife's tire blew. And of course, we didn't have an extra tire.
Yeah.
Those bikes haven't been off the wall since last summer.
Right.
So I have to and it's daylight. It's not late.
Yeah.
But I don't want my wife and daughter just sitting on a bike path.
Yeah.
So I hurried. 4 miles back. Not that it's crazy, but if I was overweight, not in shape, I'm not prepared to get back to the truck to get them.
Yeah.
So they could have been sitting out there for a while. So that's one example. But if you're not prepared fitness, then you can't lead right. And then that's how they talk about it. You have to lead right before you can do anything.
Yeah.
And I definitely wasn't prepared for the unexpected, whether it was work or fitness, life in general, really. I thought I was, but being prepared in every aspect of your day is just going to make everything that much better.
Yeah.
And you have to get right before you can do that.
Yeah. I love it. That's one of the foundational points in that book. And I think it just bleeds through everything. And what a great real life example, right? Of I always think of like vacation, right? When I'm carrying 6 bags and suitcases and I'm wondering why we allowed our 4-year-old to pack her own suitcase. I'm sort of like, why am I carrying all this? But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I can carry all this, So just little stuff like that. And it's so cool. I think, the other thing that I just love, that I am curious about, like you came in, you started absorbing this material, realized like there's a need, like I need some of this stuff, and have just now that spills out from you to like all these people that you interact with. And we're seeing that, you're a huge part of the growth in Valley and the culture that's out there. But some guys maybe don't, like, that doesn't click. I don't know. Curious, like, what if you have any thoughts on that? Like, what made it click so easily and so quickly for you?
Yeah.
I think I was searching for F3 before I knew about it. So as soon as, like, I always viewed myself as a leader. I worked my way up at a large company. doing whatever I needed to do, put my head down.
Yeah.
And I managed large teams. But I was doing more for them than myself.
Mm.
And then as you read these books, I wasn't leading the correct way.
Mm.
So you have to take care of yourself first before you can lead right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that I randomly bumped into Speed Bump.
Yeah.
And as soon as he started talking about it, I couldn't get enough.
Yeah.
And there is a different boxes coming from F3 on my porch every day.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, maybe you should slow down a little bit.
You don't need to buy all the shirts. Yeah.
Well, and the books and
Yeah.
like it was just
Yeah.
I think I read Free to Lead in probably a day and a half.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's just I couldn't be more thankful for it.
Yeah. And listening to you talk about work and, being prepared for both things in work and things with your family and, that accountability that you have there. I'm curious because you mentioned your M a couple of different times and that it sounds very supportive
Oh, yeah.
of what you've been doing in F3. So I'm curious how the Concentrica landed with you where, you got the most significant relationship at the center and we are 2.0s and we build out from there. To me, it really hit me when I heard the explanation of work-life balance is just a complete falsity because this idea that you can have work over here and then the rest of your entire life on the other side. And I found the Concentrica to be kind of cracking the code about, I need to focus on where I put my energy. I wonder what your journey was like in discovering and trying to implement the Concentrica in your life.
Yeah, it's a great question. I probably failed at it for a very long time. There was no balance. And I would say like my wife and I have had a good relationship. I mean, marriage isn't always easy. But we've always had a mentality of, we're a team. And there's days that she doesn't really like me. But I will say that F3 has really opened my eyes, I guess, to how to manage some of the conflict that marriage brings. Just with, talking in the mornings and listening really where maybe there's another guy having some problems at home and just listening to what they're going through and then how I may be able to relate that to a situation in my home. Yeah, like I've had several COTs about her. And there's one time where I said it was probably early on where, I was not as sad of a clown and I was happy around the house. And I mean, obviously she's going to feed off of that.
Yeah.
Like if I'm happy, then it helps the house to be happy.
Right.
And she was in the kitchen and I randomly walked up to her and started dancing with her. And again,
That's
I can't
great.
dance.
Yeah.
But just
Living up to the name.
I grabbed her and because there was a good country song on and started dancing with her and I would have never done that.
Yeah.
You get more joy when you are in a better mental state, I guess.
Yeah, that's great.
I love that. It's so cool. Just again to hear, right? Because I think it's this acknowledgement of none of us are perfect or doing it perfectly right. We all have room to grow, but then taking a chance to do something different, to stop and dance with your wife, right? Or I think it's just so cool. And then your kids get to see that, right? And you mentioned your daughter. I think, do you have just the one daughter?
Yep.
And how has F3 impacted her or your relationship with her?
Well, my wife found a note, like she was doing some journal stuff, and I don't know how my wife came across it, but she talked about F3 and how it's helped the family.
Wow.
In her journal. I'm like, that's pretty impactful. I don't know, she probably was 11 or 12 probably 12 when she wrote that.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
It's definitely made an impact on our family.
Have you brought her out to a 2.0
Oh, yeah.
workout?
Yeah.
And what's she
doesn't like waking up early.
Yeah.
No, I'll take her to Oracle when there's
Okay.
2.0s. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
That's awesome. It's just so cool. I get super excited because I hear so much of my story and your story, and but also want to ask, like, as you've gone through this journey yourself, what advice do you have for the new guy who's coming in and just now realizing he's a sad clown, and just now
Yeah.
realizing like how anything to help guys kind of process through that?
Just really be uncomfortable being uncomfortable, or be comfortable being uncomfortable. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It really embrace it. And LaserJet, he led a beacon, and he was talking about the more you give F3, the more you get back. And that I haven't forgotten that.
Yeah.
And I try to talk to the new guys in Valley. I try to encourage them to come to coffee, and try and, because there is a wall.
Yeah.
But you can really tell when people are guarded, because they're just uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And we're slowly getting more guys, and sometimes the schedule doesn't work out for
Yeah.
coffee, but now, especially with summer, our numbers have been amazing.
Yeah.
And, we'll have 20 plus guys there, and the majority will come to coffee,
Mhm.
whether it's for 5 or 10 minutes. And that it slowly builds from there. And then you can start talking to them, and they'll open up. And like, as soon as they see that we're all good dudes,
Mhm.
and they can be comfortable, then they start posting more. Then they'll go to coffee more. And then you just, the glue, right? You
Yeah.
just get, and the nice thing is, when you don't show up to a beatdown, and then you get a lot of text messages, and they're giving you a hard time,
Yeah.
that's the accountability. Like,
Unless you're, fixing your wife's flat tire on her bicycle.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. When you've got the extra, if a guy has an excuse like, oh, I got to get home and get ready for work, they could just shower at Love's, right?
Right, yeah.
You've got that. Most coffee shops don't have that. No, it's so cool. And the other thing I wanted to get your thoughts on was your relationship with Speed Bump. Or maybe even other guys out at where you live, because I was out at Speed Bumps a few weeks ago, and he's like, Beard Butter lives here, Street Dance lives here, the Beast is over here.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much the whole lake is coming to F3 now. So how is that?
Yeah, it's been
impacted?
great. There's, maybe a third of the people at in our subdivision are in F3.
Yeah.
And it's great. And having a community of leaders like that, I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
And then that goes into the community, and it inspires everybody to give back. And I try to EH as many people as possible, just because I know how good it's done for me and for others. And we're going to try and EH that whole community in Valley that we can. And then it then continues to go into the community. So, like, I'm a mentor for teammates.
Oh, cool.
And, you give back to your community, and you try to grow that way. And you're like, so talking to coffee, I'm like, why aren't you a teammate? Take care of these kids in our community. And one thing that they're missing is there's not enough male mentors, whether it's DC West or whatever school.
Yeah.
So that's now my new EAH thing is, after F3, you can go to DC West quick and mentor a kid at the school.
I'm curious, because Valley I've just found to be such a unique experience to watch. It grow so quickly, and just everything just seemed to hit on all cylinders. And one of the things I remember when I started F3, I think we had 4 beatdowns that was west of 132nd Street, right? And just seeing that grow exponentially in Bennington and Gretna and Valley and Elkhorn. I'm curious, as site Qs are thinking about taking flags, and they're either going into an area that is a true expansion where we've never been before, or where we're building on, recent expansion.
Mhm.
What kind of advice can you give to the site Qs and the guys that are sort of rallying around that community to build it? What's the secret sauce in making sure that everybody does as well as Valley does?
Be welcoming.
Yeah.
Not that other sites aren't, but I've just seen that if you can tell when guys need F3 and they'll try it and then they're kind of unsure, they're like dipping a toe in. I'll text them. I'll say, "Hey, missed you this morning. Where are you going to go tomorrow?" And start those conversations. And, maybe I don't get a reply right away. But you can't take it personal. You're trying to do something good for the individual and reaching out and talking to them. And then when they do come back, make it, don't make it like crazy, like obnoxious that you're excited to see them, but make them feel overly welcome saying, "Hey, good to see you, how's everything going?" And that's where they start to feel more comfortable and they come back. And I think it's been working well. And it's been, we have such an opportunity there that we should be able to continue to get. We are starting to get more guys from the school system,
Right.
and it just the model works.
Yeah.
And as soon as more people start hearing about it, it's such a need for every community, really.
That's great. I mean, the way you're giving the advice, it's like it can be just as simple as making sure that everybody who shows up to a workout gets welcomed and everybody at the end gets asked to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just there's really no better way to start your day.
Yeah.
And as soon as the guys realize that, then they're hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool too, because I think it's interesting because out at it's like hearing Speed Bump's wife now refers to you as street dance, and she knows beard butter, but like it gives like that community aspect where now like even your M's know.
Oh yeah,
like, oh, we've got all these really good people around us, and then
our kids
and your kids. I mean, it's just it's just so cool to me to see, and that's really the vision, right? That like male community leadership. But talk me through. I know, so Speed Bump, when he first met you, didn't even introduce himself.
No,
and just said, "Come to this workout." How's your relationship with him now?
Oh, I mean, that guy has a gift, and I've told him that several times over the now almost 2 years. He's a special individual, and I think everybody across F3 sees that. He, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like anybody, he'll talk to anybody and just bring, the positive vibes to wherever he's at. And I couldn't be more thankful that we randomly ran into each other, and I stayed with it because there's times where I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna go back, but he wouldn't let that. So it was
just kept texting you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Talk to us about Shield Lock. Have you had a chance to get into Shield Lock at all? Or
surprisingly, with we have a joke with Baptize. We're in a Shield Lock, and I probably had about 20 guys over to the lake last summer, and he was still fairly new into F3. So the story with Baptize is he used to work for me, and I've known him since he's like 19. I've been his mentor for a long time. I promoted him to move to Tennessee. I told him when he goes there that you need to get your degree before you come back. Because that was where we worked. You go off site, you get to experience, and then you come back, and then you can work your way up. So he went to Tennessee. He got his degree while he was living there. He met his M. And so it's just nice. It's been awesome to see his journey. But now we call him the Rat because he's part of the Southwest Cartel. So there's a bunch of Bennington Valley guys that give him a hard time.
That is awesome. What a cool connection to be able to see somebody like go through that phase of life. And then, does he work with you now or work
No,
for a
no,
different
he's
company?
still at the same company
Okay.
that we were at.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah.
So, I guess the other thing I'm curious thinking about Fitness Fellowship Faith, then on the faith side, talk us through, would love to hear like growing up, what was faith like? Was that a part of life? And then kind of where you're at today?
It was not very. No, like my mom and dad would drop us off at Sunday school.
Oh, okay. Nice.
We we lived probably 30 minutes from town,
Okay.
um, and it really was like, here, go to Sunday school, we'll come back pick you up, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, so my sister has always been very strong with her faith,
Mm.
and that has never really uh translated with me. Like that, I obviously am Christian, and I just have never really been one to go to church. Like my uncle's a Lutheran pastor. Like
Okay.
so it's in our family. And but I will say that the some of the first COTs talking about faith and all that and praying at the end is like, that's my church.
Hmm.
And I get it every day.
Yeah.
And going back to my X feed before F3, like you know, I have a lot more faith in my life, and which is, it's amazing.
Hmm.
And it changes your perspective on things.
Yeah.
So it's been very good for me.
I love it. It's cool too to think, with F3 not being a specific religion, and we really are open to all men. And it's really just,
Yeah.
you just can't believe that you're the center of the world. And if that's what you believe and there's something bigger out there, then that's great.
Yeah.
That's really our definition. And over the years, I've heard a lot of guys say that F3 sort of is serving, in
Yeah.
this space of their church, which is great. I would be curious, were you intimidated by the faith piece or kind of put off by that? Or did the Bible verse in a COT bother you at all or
No,
not?
not at all.
No. Okay.
I never really intimidated by it at all. I so my uncle was the pastor at St. Timothy's, the church on 90th and Dodge.
Okay.
So we would go there when he was leading that
Okay.
church, and then he was called to go to Lincoln, so it just didn't work.
Hmm.
And then we tried to go to various other churches, and it just never really stuck.
Yeah.
And my wife has been pushing for us to go, and she got tired of pushing. So
Yeah.
um, I never really felt, I guess, I should need to go.
Mm.
Um, I I know I have faith and there's someone higher than me,
Yeah.
and having the outlet in the mornings and praying every day, I do think that's good. And we've talked about going to church more.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been a key focus, I guess.
Well, it's not a requirement of F3 that
Yeah.
you go to church. So, I just think it's so cool because I think most men, I can't say all, but I know for myself, you get to these points in life where you don't know what your next step needs to be or should be, but you need a group to kind of
Yeah.
help, and for F3 to be able to be there for in all aspects, all
Right.
seasons, whatever it is you need help with, including the faith stuff. I mean, I think but I also want to get your thoughts because in F3, we kind of third F, or at least I think of it as like there's kind of the spiritual side, and then there's also the community service side. And
Mhm.
you were mentioning teammates.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to do any other third F events within F3?
Uh, we did quite a bit for CSOP.
Yeah,
Yeah, just right down the road here.
yeah,
We had quite a few supplies that we delivered with Vandalay and Baptize. That's something that I've been passionate about, but I haven't really delivered on.
mm,
The being a mentor for teammates in the community, I think that is a good step. And I want to continue to try and do the different things for the Valley community. I helped with the youth sports organization for a few years,
yeah,
and continue to find different avenues to help that community.
heck yeah,
But that's something that we should, as we continue to grow in Valley, that we need to find ways to give back at a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I want to build off that by asking you about leadership and what was that like for you to take the flag at Beacon, which you at one point in time didn't even know what that was.
Yeah. I remember it was surprisingly, Speed Bump, I think, knows all, 3,500 people in F3, and
Yeah.
he would get, I don't know if that's the right number, but close.
Yeah, close
He,
enough.
he would always have a bunch of guys at Beacon when he was trying to build it. And there was one morning in November. So I started, in July, it's just him and I on a pre-run,
Mhm.
and we're talking, and I felt comfortable enough to ask him, like, why are you carrying the shovel around? What's it mean?
Yeah.
And I knew it meant something, but then he really explained more of it. And then after that pre-run and beat down, I'm like, I want that flag.
Mm.
And so I kept showing up, kept doing pre-runs, listening, learning,
Mhm.
and I kept asking him questions about it. And I think he knew after I was buying in that it was going to be an easy person to find, or because he mentioned that when he founded it, he didn't know what to expect, and
Right.
nobody does, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I couldn't be more thankful for that opportunity to take over Beacon and just have that. You can't overstate, at least for myself, how important something like that is. Like,
Mhm.
I am grateful for that experience, and it was an amazing year, and crazy how fast it goes.
Yeah.
Because my wife, because I was doing the DC West Youth Sports at the time,
Mhm.
and she's like, "You want to do 2 volunteer things? That's going to take up a bunch of your time."
Mm.
And there was no way I was ever going to say no
Right.
if he was going to ask. I'm like, I want that flag. I want to run Beacon.
Yeah.
Beacon has done so much for me, and I wanted to give back as much as I could.
Yeah.
How'd you go about finding your successor?
Barstool started, maybe a week or 2 after I did, and like he's always been there. I mean, it couldn't have been an easier person to pass it to.
Mhm.
And he lives, in the same community.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like we knew right away that, as soon as I got him, like, Barstool, you're up.
Yeah.
So,
You're up next.
and it's been great. Like, he and Red Card, we pre-run, I mean, every week,
Mhm.
and now we're doing multiple Smurfs a week, so it's been awesome.
Excellent.
It's so cool just to hear, again, just when the blueprint works,
Yeah.
and it's funny, right? Because it's so many other areas of life. We think we got to try a new way or a new thing, and we're just following the blueprint, and it seems to work. But I'm curious when you think about, and I think I remember a conversation shortly after you handed off the flag, and I think most site queues go through this where there's sort of like a lull.
Yeah.
You're like, I handed off the flag, and like, now what?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
you seem to have filled that gap, right, with some other ways to give back and to
Yeah.
serve. But talk us through that. What was that like? And maybe any advice for guys that are handing off a flag soon, or maybe in that sort of
Yeah.
lull where they're like, what do I do now?
Yeah. I would probably ask, I should have done maybe a little bit more questions on, like, what do I do next after I
Mhm.
pass the flag? Because I don't really want to.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I really enjoyed it,
Mhm.
and it did provide a purpose.
Mhm.
And we always talk about that. You need to have a purpose,
Yeah.
and maybe that sounds silly, but I don't think I don't think it is. It's a meaningful purpose that you get to do for a year.
Mhm.
And I should have reached out and said, okay, what do I do next now for F3? What can I do to help?
Yeah.
You know, and Speed Bump eventually reached out and, you know, trying to weasel shake more guys in the community and do that thing. But I just ask questions. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we have not that we are together a lot in the gloom, but as you post more, you're with the same guys every day, and you can ask leadership. Okay, I'm ready to lead in a different level, at a different,
Mm-hmm.
in a different way. What can I do now?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so that's the advice, is just continue to ask questions.
Yeah, I love it. I at one point I think maybe it was Hard Hat that was suggesting we should make every guy go through that, like not give him any more duties, and like sort of like this rite of passage where you realizing that like after you get to lead a site, then you're leading, but now as a PAX,
Yeah,
but it's a challenge. So I
yeah,
appreciate you sharing your advice there. I also think it's cool to just see all of the different ways you're leading now in an unofficial role or title,
yeah.
and just I would be curious, like before F3, did you see any of that sort of happening, or I don't know, this kind of transformation seems pretty
No,
cool.
no.
Yeah.
We have, my wife and I have always talked about how we can give back, and we just never really followed through on
Mm.
any of it. Um, you know, my wife now, she's the president of the DC West chapter of Teammates.
Wow.
So that she would volunteer and do some different things.
Yeah.
Um, but as her and I, we would talk about different ways. And when we chose to move to Valley, we wanted our daughter to be in a smaller school. And we said we were going to get involved with the community. And then that's where started with the youth sports and giving back that way. Now with teammates and trying to figure out where else we can help that smaller community.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely F3 has given a better outlet to be able to do that. And, um, you know, that's something that now we just need to keep, keep doing it, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think the most difficult question I think we've ever asked on this show now for you, Street Dance, which is why is it that Patchy Adams cues at the Valley, at Beacon Valley more than anyone else? Have you figured out that mystery?
Yeah. So it's funny you say that because,
He's the only guy on there twice. Right?
yep.
Yeah.
So he's the only guy that's queued twice. When Speed Bump was queued, and then me, and then he was trying to get on the queue schedule with Barstool twice, and Barstool said no.
Nice. We've solved the problem.
There's the answer.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He's funny. I think he's queuing at Bridge here coming up.
All right.
But yeah, every time we continue to reach out to him to get out there and post more, so it's fun.
That's great.
He takes it well.
Yeah.
Good old Patchy. I love it. Well, man, I can't tell you how thankful I am for you, for your story, and just your willingness to share. I know here and even in the gloom, right? If guys see out there and have questions, and just the way you're giving back, this is like that's what makes this thing keep working. Is just each guy gets unlocked and keeps giving it away. And where we kind of like to end is just asking you where you're at today. Where do you need prayers or support or encouragement?
Where I do?
Yeah.
I don't know. A good question again. I just want to really continue to dive into F3 and see where I can help.
Mm.
I'm not going away. I want to, there's a lot of talk of, with some of the new guys that you can tell they're bought in,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to have another site, maybe a Waterloo site. So maybe help with a launch there and see what we can do. And then continue to do some more community outreach and talk with the city to see how we can give back, whether it's with F3 or just as men leaders in the community, like what we're supposed to, the mission statement. So that's what we need to live. And I'll continue to try and get the guys to be mentors too.
Really appreciate your leadership, man. Thanks.
Let's do a little Nemo here to wrap us up. Brandon Fleehardy, 40, The Plague.
The Plague.
Ah!
Mike Duffy, 43, Gator.
Gator, Chomp.
Tony Ferguson, 47, Street Dance.
Street dance. And have you ever come up with a little dance to do it?
No, it would be terrible.
Yeah. Okay. And no call sign either, right?
Nothing.
Yeah.
No.
We'll have to come up with one.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you, brother. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Scars on our hands, hope in our chest. We're not defined by the weight of the test. Brothers in step, we carry the flame. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop, yeah. Every man's got a story inside. Standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, yeah, every man's got a story. We've been broken, we've been bruised, but we rise again and we don't get to choose. Through the fire, through the fight, every man's story burns in the night. Scars on our hands, hope in our chest. We're not defined by the weight of the test. Brothers in step, we carry the flame. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. On a story to tell, from the valley low to the mountaintop, yell. Every man's got a story inside. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop, yeah. Every man's got a story inside. Standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, yeah, every man's got a story. Every man's got a story. Voices rise like thunder, they roll. Truth in the pain, it's shaping the soul. Chains may rattle, but they break in time. Every man's story is yours and mine. From the struggle to the glory, every man's got a story. In the dark or in the light, we keep marching through the night. Every man's got a story inside. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop hill. Every man to the mountaintop hill.